welcome to the 33rd edition of Drive Through Review. Today I'm going to talk about Zheng Fen. I think that is the correct pronunciation. Forgive me if I've gotten it wrong. Zheng Fen is a climbing game. I believe it is the original climbing game uh, from the Chinese Cultural Revolution. It's supposedly the predecessor to Tichu. Um, Unlike Tichu, this actually uses a regular deck of cards, but doesn't have any special cards like the dog and the dragon and all that stuff. You do need a deck with jokers. These are the jokers in my deck. Yeah, real nice. You need a deck with two different jokers, and that's it. So let me jump into how this plays and go from there.
I just wanted to show you this. It's actually a file that's up on the Geek, created by yours truly, to show you all the different trick ranks and all the the different sequences that you can play, as well as the value of the cards when you're playing a single card trick. If you don't understand anything I just said, don't worry, I'll get into it. But this game has it's not bad. It's nice to have this handy for the first couple of games, just so you can keep in mind what the legal tricks are. It's a little bit more, I don't know, involved than Teach You. So just keep this in mind, and it's up there, and it's very helpful. You just print it out and hand it out to everybody. So let me just get into how the game plays. So I'm going to talk about the game as it plays for 3 players. Now I've played this actually with 2 players. I think it's a blast. Nobody else does. So I must be smoking rock or something, because I think it's fun, but everybody I play it with says, no thanks, I don't want to do that again. So anyway, I like it. With 2, it's weird, but it's fun. It's a way to pass the time. With 3, it's awesome. Everybody I played it with says 3 is the best. I agree. With 4, I don't know. You might as well play Tichu, I guess, if you're going to play with 4. And supposedly you can play with 5 and 6, and I stopped at 4. I don't see the point of trying it with 5 and 6. So I'm going to talk about it as a 3-player game. I think this is a great trick-taking, climbing 3-player game. Really, really fun. So what you're going to do is you're going to just basically deal out the entire deck to all 3 players. Since you have both jokers in there, you're going to use all 54 cards. So 54 divided by 3 divides evenly. So everybody have the same amount of cards. So you can see you've got a fairly large hand of cards that you have to spend, a couple minutes organizing. It's not too bad. So if you haven't played a climbing game before, basically you're going to lead off and start a trick. And it's kind of like hearts and spades, where you lead off a card, or in this case maybe a set of cards, and everybody else is going to try to follow to try to beat that and then take the trick. But there's one big difference between these types of games and hearts or spades or whatever, and that is you have to follow the type of trick that was played. So there's different types of tricks that you can play. You could play a single card. So if I wanted to just throw this king out and put that face down, then everybody else has to follow with a single card. Okay? So if somebody wanted to beat it, they'd have to come along and play an ace. And then the next guy could play a card to beat that. Now one thing that's different about this card, or this game, is the 3 is actually the lowest card in the game, while the 2 is the highest card other than the jokers. Now, the reason you need 2 different jokers is when you're playing these single card tricks, you need a low and a high joker. So in this case, I've made this the high joker because it's got the guarantee, because you're guaranteed to win the trick if you use this joker. So just need 2 different looking jokers so you can say which is higher than the other. And that only matters for the single card tricks. But if I had led with a pair, then everybody else would have to follow with a pair. If I had led with 3 of a kind, then everybody would have to follow with 3 of a kind or pass. And the other difference between this and like hearts and spades is it could keep going around. So I could play 3 of a kind of 3s. Johnny could come and play 3 of a kind of 10s. Maybe Bill passes. It comes back to me. I could do 3 of a kind of kings again to outbeat Johnny. So it keeps going around and around until everybody passes except the last person to play a set of cards. That person will take all the cards, they'll collect them and keep them in front of them, and then whoever wins the trick leads the next trick. Now you can see here I've used the joker with the kings because the jokers can be used as wilds. When you're doing a single suit or a single card trick, or you're just leading with one card, then the jokers, you just count them for their value. But in most every other tricks in the game, the jokers can be used as a wild to substitute. Okay, so what are the different kinds of trick types that you can start? Well, like I said, one is a single card. The next one you can do is a pair. The one you can do after that is 3 of a kind. The one after that is 4 of a kind, and I'm just using a joker here because I can't find my other 3 all of a sudden. The one after that is a sequence of pairs. So you've got to have pairs that go in like sort of like a straight. And you need at least 3 of these. You could have more if you want, but you need at least 3 of these. So if I played this sequence of pairs 3 3 4 4 5 5, the next player would have to play a sequence of pairs as well. And the thing to keep in mind, you always have to beat the previous hand, the previous played set of cards. You can't tie it. So if somebody else had 3 3 4 4 5 5, they couldn't do it. They need something ending in 6 6 or higher. The next trick type is a sequence of triples. So I've got the same kind of deals before, 3 3s, 3 4s, and 3 5s. And it's the same kind of rules. You've got to follow with this type and beat it. The highest part of the sequence has to be higher than the highest part of my sequence. The next thing you can do is you can actually do a sequence of quartets, which, holy cow, I would never, how would that ever happen in this game except 2-player? It could happen in 2-player with jokers, I think. But anyway, you could have a sequence of 4 of a kinds. Yeah, right, okay. The next trick type is a full house. Now the full houses in this game are a little bit different, and I think this is where you might lose people, but it is this way for a good reason. So you can use a typical full house like you see in poker, which is basically 3 of a kind with a pair. But there's also a couple other ways to do a full house. You could do 3 of a kind with 2 adjacent same suited cards. Now this is equal to the 3 of a kind I just showed you, but that was 3 of a kind with a pair. I'm sorry, equal to the full house I just showed you. When you do the checking for who has the highest full house, you just check the 3 of a kind. Okay? The other 2 cards don't matter. It just has to be the legal full house. So like I said, you could have 3 of a kind with a pair, like a regular poker full house, or 3 of a kind with a little mini straight here, so to speak. You can also have a 3 of a kind with a 3 in any other card. Now that sounds weird, but there's a good reason for that. So just kind of bear with me for this part. So this is a legal full house, 3 5s and a 3 and a 9. The last way to do a full house is with 3 of a kind and any 2 scoring cards. Now I haven't talked about scoring cards yet, but I will in a minute. A scoring card is a king, a 5, or a 10. So this is a legal full house. You've got 3 of a kind and a king and a 5, which are both scoring cards. So if you had any combination of a 5, a 10, or a king in this extra part of the full house with the 3 of a kind, that's a legal 3 of a kind. The last type of trick type is basically a straight flush. It's called a suit sequence in the rules for this game. But yeah, it's just a straight flush. Now you can have more than 5, but you need at least 5 when you play this. So players are going to go around and lead with tricks to try to capture those scoring cards like I was saying, which are your 5, your 10, and your king. These are going to count for points at the end of the round. So the 5s are going to give you 5 points, and the 10s and the kings are going to give you 10 points. So you just basically add up, each player adds up their 5s, 10s, and kings, and then you play another hand, and then you just play to a certain number of points, say 500 or 1,000, and whoever gets there first wins. Now there's one other type of thing that a player can do, and that's bomb. And if you've played Tishu, you know what a bomb is, but if you haven't played Tishu, then you probably don't know what a bomb is. And it sounds scary. Bombs can be scary, but you've got to watch out for the bombs, okay? So what a bomb is a way for a player to break the current trick type. So if the current trick type was, let's say it was a straight flush, and it's probably not likely that every player is going to have a straight flush to play. So let's say Bill played his straight flush out here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, Johnny's got his full house that he'd like to get rid of, but he can't follow a straight flush with a full house because it's got to be the same trick type. So he's stuck, so he's going to pass. So the next player also doesn't have anything to play really, but they have a bomb. And what a bomb can do is it can basically, you can play out of the trick type and just play the bomb. Now there's 3 types of bombs. So a bomb, the first bomb, is a 5, a 10, and a king of different suits. The next type of bomb, that's a step above the previous bomb, is a 5, 10, and king of all the same suits. Now there's one more bomb, and that bomb is 4 deuces, but I am holding an illegal bomb here. Jokers cannot be used when you play a bomb. You can't have a 5, a 10, and a joker and say that's going to be your king. You can only use the joker as wilds in the other types. You can never use a joker in a bomb. So I've got here the highest bomb in the game, and that's 4 deuces. So you can't play this as a 4 of a kind trick. This automatically becomes a bomb when you play it. So what happens when you play a bomb is if somebody plays a bunch of cards, you can go ahead and just bomb that, throw your bomb out. And unless somebody beats your bomb, in this case nobody would beat this bomb because it's 4 deuces, then you'll just take everything and then you'll win that trick and then be able to lead the next trick. So you're going to keep going around and around. You're going to be collecting cards. The first player to go out is going to sit there. He's going to be happy because he's the first player to go out, and he may be less or more happy depending on how many of these scoring cards he has in his pile. The last person to go out is going to be unhappy because whenever the last person goes out, the game is going to end immediately when there's only one person left with any cards in their hand. The last person is going to have to give all of his cards in his hand and any that he's collected to the player who went out first. So he's going to get any of the kings and 10s and 5s that the last player may have collected. So the last player is not going to score any points, no matter how many he collected during the game, if he's the last player to go out. So you want to try to get rid of your cards as much as you can. And everybody's going to total their points. You're going to play the next round. Whoever went out first is going to lead. Now, to start off the game, you don't have a lead, so whoever has the 3 of hearts is going to lead. You don't have to play a trick with the 3 of hearts. Some of these type of games you have to play with the low card, but if you have the 3 hearts, then you just get to lead the first trick of the game. And I should mention that suit doesn't really have any value. It's everything that I explained before. You don't really worry about the suit. This is the only time you worry about the suit so much. Is whoever has 3 of hearts goes first.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed the overview. It's a lot like Teach You. You're basically trying to go out, trying to get rid of all your cards, so you're the first person to go out. So some of those bigger trick types, the runs, the sequence of pairs, the full houses, you get rid of more cards at once. To get rid of your cards quicker, that's better. But you still want to collect the scoring cards for the end. So it's like, like it in that way. There's a lot of more fun card play though here. Basically, you've got the bombs that are the 5 and the 10 and the kings and all that stuff. And you want to be careful with that because and this is where it kind of works better for 3 players. With 4, it seems like the card play just isn't as good. And because you can't get any of the more interesting hands that way. So when you've got the 5, 10, and the kings, and you can use those as a bomb, well, that's great. That's a scoring card, but it's like, when do you use the bomb, and when do you you throw out a sweet hand, with 3 pairs in a row? Well, lo and behold, you're going to get bombed on that because nobody wants you to be able to control, which tricks are coming out, what types of tricks are coming out, because that's almost just as important as getting the scoring cards. So there's a lot of great dynamics here and back and forth with, the cards that you get and the cards you think that the other player has and what's already been played and stuff like that. It doesn't get too thinky. You don't have to bid or anything like that. You don't have to call Teach You and do anything like that. This game is probably a step up from like Big 2, which was done as Gang of 4 by Days of Wonder. So if you wanted to kind of lead somebody to Teach You, maybe you could do Big 2 and then do this one and then do Teach You or something. so they can kind of get the feel of it. But yeah, there's great tension when it comes your turn to follow a trick. And even the single card tricks, there's a lot of like, well, should I use my joker here? Well, I just got rid of a wild card, but I'm going to get control and be able to lead with the type of trick that I want. So it's pretty fun. And like I said, it works really well with three. It even works well with two. I don't know. I like it where you can figure out, well, I'm going to dump my entire hand. And then what am I going to have left? And I know every single card the other player has. And it's just basically the first person that's trying to go out in a two player. You go out and you collect the other guy's cards anyway because he was last, so you get 100 points. And you just play hands and play hands. So it's fun. I would give this a try. If you're watching this video, I would definitely, you made it all the way through. Give this one a try. If you've got three people and they're interested in this kind of game, it plays pretty quick. Play a few hands, and you'll kind of get into it. And we've been playing it at lunch there at work, and anyway, it's great. Thanks.